Hi guys, my name is Tito. I make videos on personal finance, saving and investing most of the time. Some other times I talk about other things. Like today when I'll be reviewing the new Michael Akinrogunde directed film which stars Toyin Abraham and Osas Ighodaro, The Ghost and the Tout, 2. The Ghost and the Tout 2 is a comedy about how Isla, a ghetto girl with an ability to communicate with ghosts, meets Anoke, a woman stuck between this world and the next. She seeks Isla's help to bring her back to the land of the living fully before it's too late. Now guys, there are lots of things that I want to discuss about this film in this video. This is going to be a long one, so brace yourself. I want to talk about the economics of Nollywood films, Toyin Abraham films, and even rate my favorite to my least favorite of her films, and talk about a whole lot of things. Now let me start by saying this review will contain spoilers, so if you don't like that kind of thing, or if you intend on seeing this movie, I suggest you go and see it first, then you come back and watch this review. But if you don't mind, here goes. I actually saw this movie, The Ghost and the Tout 2, on opening day, Friday, September 10th, and that hasn't happened in a while. I was really looking forward to it largely because Osas Ighodaro is in the film. She's trending, she's a hot commodity, she's hot generally, and I really wanted to see the dynamic between Osas and Toyin Abraham on screen. They're two very different people in real life and the kind of characters that they play on screen, and I wanted to see how they'd work together on screen. So I went to see the movie because of that. Now let's talk about the story in this film. Toyin reprises her character Isla. You know, she was the same character in the first movie, and she's a tout who's able to see dead people, right? And Osas's character is semi-dead. She's actually in a coma because she was poisoned and they cast a bit of a spell on her. So her spirit goes to go and see Toyin Abraham's character to try and help her figure out who did this to her and to try and break the spell so that she can come back to life. So that's basically the story, a loose version of the story. Now let's talk about the performances in this film. Toyin Abraham. This was a standard Toyin Abraham performance, if I'm being honest, very similar to her performance in Prophetess and Fate of Alakada. And if you're familiar with Toyin Abraham films, you're familiar with Toyin Abraham performances. She'll play like a thug or, you know, a tout who is rough around the edges, who grew up in the ghetto, and who like indulges in a life of crime just to get by. This is what this character was about in this film. And it wasn't too bad, to be honest. It wasn't my least favorite Toyin Abraham performance. I wasn't a fan of her performance in Fate of Alakada or Prophetess, but this one was sufficient. It wasn't overbearing. The character let other actors and characters shine in this film, and it was all right. I didn't feel like I was being force-fed anything. It was quite cool. For the heck of it, let me talk about my favorite to my least favorite Toyin Abraham performances. In the past year, I've seen Toyin Abraham in 5 movies, I think. So my favorite, I would say, was her performance in Can't Believe the Whole 30 Yards. My second favorite was her performance in this movie, The Ghost and the Tout 2. My third, or my not so favorite, or my neutral performance of hers was her performance in 2 Weeks in Lagos. I wasn't a fan of that film. My almost least favorite performance of hers was in Fate of Alakada, which came out around this time last year. And my least favorite performance of Toyin Abraham's in the past year was her performance in Prophetess. Yeah, so favorite to least favorite. Moving on. The lovely Osas Ighodaro. Osas Ighodaro did very well as a frustrated ghost, if I'm being honest. No complaints whatsoever at all. I saw how, I understood what she meant in an interview that I saw recently where she said that Toyin Abraham told her that she had her in mind when she created the story of this film, The Ghost and the Tout 2.
That was like February.
Yeah.
So that's February of last year.
Yeah.
She told me that she's talking, that she's thinking about it and she's thinking about those forever. I was like, cool. I mean, she told me the concept.
What she said, wow.
Yeah, like that was literally
way back when.
Yeah.
She's like, Osas, you are doing my film. And that is that. We will work with your dates. No problem. Like, she was just like on it. And it was such a blessing. It really helped bring me back into myself.
So yeah, I enjoyed her performance. It was really good. And I think lots of people are going to go and see this movie because of Osas Ighodaro. I know I wouldn't have seen it on opening day if Osas wasn't in it. So yeah, one of the best decisions that Toyin Abraham did was to cast Osas in this film. Mercy Johnson. Mercy Johnson was surprisingly very funny in this film. Best performance from me in this movie. I was pleasantly surprised by how funny she was. I really enjoyed her performance. And there are lots of other big names that had supporting roles, smaller supporting roles in this film. People like Patience Ozokwor, Real Warri Pikin, Iyabo Ojo, Kola Odunlade, Kola Ajeyemi, Deyemi Okolawon, Chinedu Ikedieze, and Chinedu. They were all in this film, all big names, Ruggedman, but they had very small roles, and I don't think they had enough screen time for me to like really assess their performance or to say like any performance really blew me away or was particularly convincing. I don't know, that's how I feel. If you've seen the movie, if you were blown away by any of the other supporting actors, let me know in the comment section below. Me personally, I wasn't too impressed. Hey guys, now I'm interrupting this video really quickly to ask a favor of you. Please like this video by clicking on the like button. I'd really appreciate it. And please subscribe to my channel as well. Statistically, many of you who watch my reviews aren't subscribed to my channel. I don't know why. Please do me that favor, make my day by clicking that red subscribe button. Finally, share this video with someone who loves Nollywood films or someone who loves Toyin Abraham or Osas Ighodaro, okay? Doing any of these things will really make my day, especially if you subscribe. All right, so thank you guys. Let's get back to the review now. What I liked. I liked Osas's performance and Mercy Johnson's performance. Yes, that's all. What I didn't like. The editing in this film was a bit poor in some scenes or in some cases, and I feel it affected the delivery of some of the jokes and the punchlines. They would have been better delivered if the editing was done properly. I mean, if you watch films or if you're into films and into film production and cinematography, you'll get it. But yeah, there was that. Secondly, the subtitles. And this is where I can really, or anyone actually can pick a bone with this film. They spoke in English, Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo in this movie. And there were subtitles predominantly when they were speaking in Yoruba. In some cases, they were speaking Yoruba, there were no subtitles. But when they spoke Igbo and Hausa, there were no subtitles, and that hurt. I mean, Chinedu Ikedieze, when they went to see him, his first scene, he spoke Igbo, we didn't see the subtitles. And especially there was a scene where Kola Ajeyemi spoke Igbo to Chinedu Ikedieze, and he said something very powerful, and the Igbo people in the hall were like, deep. But there are no subtitles, so the rest of us who don't understand Igbo, we didn't know what was said, and it was painful. That particular scenario, that particular scene was very painful. So yeah, that subtitle issue, and I mean, there's no reason why there should not have been subtitles when you know fully well that all the audience members, the people watching your movie, don't speak, you know, this language that the character is speaking. The default is English. So if anybody is speaking any other language, the subtitles should be there. I don't see why there were subtitles in certain scenarios and they weren't in others. I'm not citing tribalism. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just citing excellence and, you know, continuity. The subtitles should have been everywhere where they needed to be. There was that. Talking about continuity, there were a couple of continuity issues in this film. I will highlight 2 or 3. There was a chase scene. Before I even get to it, I need to give you a bit of a backstory. So Kola Ajeyemi's character was the assassin hired by Chinedu's character to poison Osas's character, right? So he's the bad guy. Chinedu Ikedieze's character also hires the same Kola Ajeyemi's character to get rid of or to assassinate Toyin Abraham's character. So he goes to this festival where they're all at to try and do the job to get rid of Toyin Abraham's character. And then, first consistency or continuity issue, Toyin Abraham's love interest comes and tells Toyin Abraham's character that guy that you said you were looking for, I saw him around. They don't show us where Toyin Abraham tells her love interest that she was looking for that guy. So that's continuity issue number 1. So she sees him, he takes off, he runs off. Toyin Abraham runs after him, steals a keke napep, a tricycle, to follow, you know, to chase him down, to pursue him. I don't think they showed us the vehicle he was in, whether he was on foot or on a bike or in a car. But Toyin Abraham took a keke napep and she goes after him in her own vehicle, right, which she stole. This chase scene and all this is in the afternoon. The chase continues and then they get to where they're going. The chase scene ends night time. That did not make sense. So it started in the afternoon, ended at night. It didn't feel like they went, you know, a very long distance. It felt like it was a short distance that they went for, but it began in the afternoon, ended at night. Continuity issue number 2. Continuity issue number 3. So the destination where this chase scene ends is at the beach. And she gets to the beach and the assassin guy played by Kola Ajeyemi is there with 2 other thugs, right? And there's about to be a showdown, a fight. Toyin Abraham's character's love interest from earlier on shows up at the beach and says that he followed her from the festival, the carnival, to the beach because he felt she was in trouble. And so he conveniently shows up, fights, this assassin and his two thugs, gets his butt kicked, so he's out of the question. Now Toyin Abraham is meant to fight the assassin and the two thugs. All of a sudden, Adedimeji Lateef, who is also in this film, his spirit, he's one of the ghosts, shows up with some other spirits, offers to assist Toyin Abraham's character to fight them by saying, he can possess her, and some other ghosts too will possess her, and she will have the strength or the energy to take on these guys. So that happens, and she very conveniently defeats an assassin and his two goons. And then they collapse, and I just had to narrate the whole thing because I know it doesn't really make sense to you. It will feel even more confusing when you watch it on screen. So these are the continuity issues essentially in a nutshell. There are so many continuity issues that were, I think, lapses in the writing that, are just done to just make the story or the film just proceed. So yeah, what other continuity issue did I see? Yes, it was revealed in the course of the story that Osas's character was also pregnant, right? Changing the dynamic of the story, making the whole thing more important. Towards the end of the movie, when everything is solved and she comes back to life, there's no mention of the pregnancy. Furthermore, they show Osas's character 10 months after she wakes up from her coma, when she comes to reconcile with Toyin Abraham's character. No sign of the baby. No mention of the pregnancy or the baby, if she lost the pregnancy or anything like that. Nothing. It was mentioned once. It seemed like a big deal. All of a sudden was a non-issue thereafter. Continuity. Cinema Pointer's review. Now, a social media account called Cinema Pointer, which reviews movies, they gave The Ghost and the Tattoo a bit of a damning review. Amongst other things, they said The Ghost and the Tattoo is not recommended for intelligent people. And they went on to compare the movie to Ghetto, the Saga, Funke Akindele's movie, which that same day, Friday, September 10th, came out on Netflix. And they said that people shouldn't bother seeing The Ghost and the Tattoo in cinemas. They should just go and watch Ghetto on Netflix. Now, I want to dwell or elaborate on my thoughts on those two things. The movie not being for intelligent people and it being compared to Ghetto, the Saga. With regards to this movie not being for intelligent people, I kind of agree, but I'm not mad or upset at it, and here's why. A movie like The Ghost and the Tattoo doesn't really appeal to academics and intellectuals. Think people like Wole Soyinka or Chimamanda Adichie or Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala or, Herbert Wigwe. These kinds of people won't go and see this movie. It won't appeal to them. But fun fact, these kinds of people, they don't go to the cinema, not very often, or maybe not even at all. The kind of people that go to the cinema that part with cash to see movies are the real average Nigerians. And believe it or not, the average Nigerian is a middle or lower income earning individual, and they don't have a high level of sophistication or education, to be honest. Remember, Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world, as they say. So people who go to the movies, the masses, the average Nigerian who parts with cash to see these movies, this is the kind of narrative that they like, the kind of movies that Toyin Abraham makes, that talks about the struggle or that reflects people that live in the ghetto and that people that tell or characters that tell local jokes. There's a mass market for this kind of content, these kind of Nollywood movies, both home and abroad. So while I do agree, coming back to Cinema Pointer's point, that intelligent minds, discerning minds, sophisticated minds may not resonate with this film, there still is a very large market for this kind of movie. And if you want to argue with or dispute Toyin Abraham's acting chops or her storytelling ability, that may be so. You may have an argument there, but what you cannot argue on is Toyin Abraham's business acumen. The woman is a phenomenal businesswoman. She knows, where to put her money and the kind of movies to make to get return on her investment. She knows the dollars and cents of this whole Nollywood thing. You cannot really dispute that. So there is an audience, there is a market, there's a demand, and Toyin Abraham is really providing the supply. When Toyin Abraham releases a movie in the cinemas in Nigeria, the whole of Instagram, Nigerians on Instagram, they will know that Toyin Abraham is releasing a movie. So yeah, you get my point. It may not be for a certain category of people, but there is still a very large audience that resonates with and that really loves Toyin Abraham's movies. And to be honest, that's kind of why I'm being a bit diplomatic with this review, because I know she has a large following and I don't want to look for trouble. But onto the second point of this movie being similar to Ghetto, I don't think so. I think that was a bit of an unfair statement. As I watched this film, I didn't really see the parallels or the similarities between this film and Ghetto. I did see there were one or two scenes that felt like things you would have seen in Ghetto, but I never felt like these guys are trying to rip off Ghetto. So I think that was a bit unfair. But to Cinema Pointer's point or defense, I see that particular comment was very controversial. It got tongues wagging. It got Iyabo to jump in the comment section and to, accuse Cinema Pointer of collecting money from Funke Akindele to promote her movie at the expense of this movie. But the controversy, the back and forth, it will help to sell the movie at the end of the day. When I saw that review before I went to see the movie yesterday, I was more motivated to go and see it. So it's one of those cases that bad press is good press at the end of the day. So it might actually work in the favor of The Ghost and the Tout too. So yeah, those are my opinions on Cinema Pointer's review of this movie, The Ghost and the Tout 2. Check out their post or their review of it on Instagram if you want to. I'll link it in the comment section below. And yeah, check out the comment section. Things are very, very fiery down there. Yeah, that's what she said. Who should see it? See The Ghost and the Tout 2 if you are a Toyin Abraham fan. She has lots of fans. If you're watching this, you're probably a fan of hers. So see it if you're a fan of hers. If you're a fan of Osas Ighodaro's as well, you should see this film. If you're a fan of Mercy Johnson's, see this movie as well. If you like a film that doesn't require too much brain power, if you want a film that you can just watch and switch your brain off to like airplane mode, then this film is right up your alley. You can watch this film on that account as well. I did enjoy it. Surprisingly, I was surprised that I enjoyed it. I don't know if I'd see it again, but it was okay. So yeah, if you're in any of those categories, then you should go out and see The Ghost and the Tout 2. Thank you guys so much for watching this long review. Do remember that my YouTube channel is not just about movie reviews. I do that. I have a number of them. You should please check them out. I think I've actually reviewed one or two Toyin Abraham films in the past. I used to try and avoid them, but I think I can go ahead and review some Toyin Abraham films now that I kind of understand what Toyin Abraham is doing and how she's going about things. That was an issue I had in the past, but I think I get it now. So yeah, check out some of my movie reviews that are showing on the screen right now. But my YouTube channel is primarily about personal finance, saving and investing for young people. So if you're trying to get better with your finances, with your money, please check out the catalog of my personal finance videos. I'm pretty sure you'll find something that will speak to you right there. If you enjoyed this movie review, please give it a like by clicking on the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Really, really, really click on that like button. And feel free to subscribe to my channel as well by clicking on the red subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to leave me a comment. If you're a Toyin Abraham fan, please don't be upset. Don't say anything nasty in the comment section. It's all love. I was just being objective. I was being a bit diplomatic too, but please, there's no need for violence. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.